What's going on, guys? So I'm out here camping for my 29th birthday. Came out by myself, and I did something similar during New Year's for 2023. I went out camping by myself, but this time I came out to the Grampians, and I came here when I was younger, like quite a bit, as a child, and I have a couple memories. But yeah, it's been a minute since I came out here. But yeah, I came out for my 29th birthday just to have some time to myself, reflect, read some books, do some creative stuff, some drawing, maybe even some writing later on. But in this video, I wanted to talk about some lessons from the last year and some reflecting that I've done yesterday as well. And the reflecting that I did yesterday, turning 29, was I was really imagining in my mind having a conversation with my 19-year-old self. So, 10 years ago, I would have been 19. And I was having a conversation with my 19-year-old self, telling him all the things that I've done, achieved, the mistakes I've made, the experiences that I've had, the countries that I've traveled. And my mind was kind of blown because 10 years ago, only being 19, I couldn't really imagine who and what I would be like being 29 years old. But as I was going through the list that I was making up in my head about the things that I've achieved, the places I've traveled, and the person and the knowledge that I've learned over that 10 years, I was pretty mind blown with the list, really. And the list went from, I really did kind of start with the creative endeavors that I've been on in the last 10 years, and just telling my 19-year-old self that I would have my own music on Spotify, my own hip-hop project. That in itself would have been mind-blowing to me as a 19-year-old back then, because I wasn't even doing music like that at 19 years old. And to tell myself that I was doing, I had projects out online and, full-length projects and stuff like that would have been crazy to me. I traveled to 16 countries in the last 10 years. When I was 19, I was already doing a lot of traveling then. I went to Europe when I was 19. As far as I wouldn't want to call it my full-on career, but my financial career right now. I just got a job recently being in management with the company that I've been at for the last year. And to say that I'm now a manager and got some pretty big responsibilities and making a decent salary now would have been pretty mind-blowing to me, because I'm also doing the career, that management career alongside with the creative stuff, and a lot of my time is going into improving myself, improving my creativity, saving my finances, even just telling my 19-year-old self how much I've invested, how much money I've been able to save in the last couple of years. All these things tied together, I can say I'm pretty proud of myself, but at the same time, being proud of myself, I've also made my fair share of mistakes along the way, leading up to being 29 years old. And I think, that's just part of life. The mistakes that we make, we all make mistakes, we all learn from them. Luckily for me, the mistakes have only been a handful. There haven't been mistakes that really took me down a really bad path or kind of destroyed my life, which some mistakes can for other people. So I'm really grateful for that. And having that conversation with my 19-year-old self, I did the same thing in the present moment. I was having a conversation with my 39-year-old self. So 10 years from now, I was having a conversation with him and telling him, this is kind of the conversation that I should have had when I was 19-year-old with my 29-year-old self, but now I get the chance to talk to my 39-year-old self and really talk to him about what you want to be like when you're 39 years old, and how much money you want saved, how healthy you want to be. I think health was one of the biggest things that the conversation consisted of with my older self. So looking after my health, eating well, working out, which I've done really well up to now. Being 29, I'm still very fit and healthy and active. But that's really kind of second nature to me now, like working out and being healthy. But as far as creativity, keep on creating, keep on making music, keep refining your skills as an artist. it's really hard to know what you're going to be like 10 years from now, because life can take its own journey as well. As much as you want to make the decisions, life can bring its own opportunities that you never saw coming. And you really kind of just got to do your best with your intuition to prepare yourself for opportunities that do come. And so when I'm 39 years old, it's really hard to tell what I would have achieved in the next 10 years. I kind of have a picture of what I want to be doing and where I want to be at, but I would have never have guessed, being at the position that I am right now. My 19-year-old self never would have guessed how much I've achieved up until now. So it's hard to tell how much you can achieve in the next 10 years, but I guess the foundation is what I was trying to have a conversation about with my 39-year-old self, about just continuing to build that solid foundation of fitness and health, creativity and finances. And so that was the reflecting that I did yesterday. I also got 5 lessons that I've learned in the last year. And, the lessons really don't stop every single year. There's always new things to learn, new experiences. I'm going to get to the art, I want to talk about creativity and music for a moment. But one thing that I've learned in the last year is I've really learned to visualize the structure of melodies when it comes to music, to really see the shape and form of melodies and to be able to express those forms into sound. I really did study note structure, how notes, sometimes I can't really articulate the theory behind notes. I know I'm probably not articulating it the best, but this is my way of learning and understanding how melodies work. But I really came to understand how melodies are formed, how I can move notes within my voice, different tones. And I'd studied heaps of artists this year, studied their melodies that I really liked and broke it down, literally wrote it down on paper and studied where the notes were going in their melodies and why it was effective. So I did a lot of that this year, and it really opened up a new level to my creativity as a musician, as an artist. I'm just fixing this fire real quick. So that was a whole new level to me, was cracking that code when it comes to melodies. And now I can really, when it comes to my own tracks, I can improvise and come up with intentional notes when it comes to melodies, where before I was more just guessing where I was going with the notes and hoping for the best. But now there's much more groundwork and a foundation when it comes to my melody writing as an artist. And I'd love to keep learning more about melodies in the next year. I feel like I'm on a really good role right now when it comes to writing melodies and expressing them. So that's what I want to kind of do in the next year. But that's one thing that I really unlocked this year as far as my creativity was melodies. Another lesson that I learned this year was applying knowledge and lessons and how they pay off. Some lessons that you apply to your life, they pay off straight away. Discipline, more practical knowledge even about how you conduct yourself. Some of these things, you can see the results straight away, literally the moment that you take action on it. Where some other lessons and knowledge that you apply to yourself in your life, you might not see it straight away, and it takes patience for you to see the outcome. And sometimes it can, even now, certain knowledge and principles that I've applied to my life, I still haven't seen the full fruition of them yet, you know what I mean? But I'll continue to apply and observe the knowledge that I am applying to my life and see if it does work out. Maybe some knowledge isn't meant for me and it's meant for other people, where it's more effective for them and not for me. But that's something that I've learned is, the knowledge that I've applied to myself, I've seen the fruits come to it straight away. For example, my work, the career that I'm in now, one of the lessons was that you are able to make more money by doing management work, by managing people. You make more money than actually doing the work itself. and I've been able to pretty much double my income by getting into this management role and not doing the physical work, the laborious work itself, but managing the people. So that's one of the lessons that I applied and I was present with, and I saw the fruits of it pretty much come this year. So that's one of the lessons that I've had this year, and I'll stay consistent with the knowledge that I'm applying to myself, and hopefully, and I'm gonna let you guys know that I do get the fruits eventually. So another lesson that I had this year was that the vision and the plan that you have for your life can change as you get older and as you become more aware and your perspective changes about how you see the world. Your plan and your vision for your life can change, and it can go in cycles, For me, I had a certain vision for my life when I was 24 years old, how I wanted to be living in my 30s, and what accolades I wanted to get from the world. But as I get older and I get wiser and I heal from trauma and I get through my own ego, the vision has changed, and I'm much more at peace and present with my journey and not wanting too much from it, I would say. I mean, I do want a lot from life, but it's the means of getting those wants. Why am I wanting those wants has changed. And so the vision and the plan can change with life. So the vision and the plan can change as your perspective changes with this world. So that's another lesson that I've had this year. Another lesson, the third lesson that I've learned in the last year is that some things that you learn, you really just have to keep to yourself. You can't go about, you might get enlightened in a certain field or in a certain way about your own life, and you think that this knowledge could help other people, but not everybody's not ready for certain lessons and certain amounts of wisdom and knowledge. And for the most part, you aren't really able to tell many people about what you've learned because they might think you're crazy, they're not ready for it. They might not be seeing the world through the same lens, so they can't connect the dots in their own mind to why the knowledge that you've come across makes sense, But for me, I'll just let the fruits of my own wisdom and action within my own life kind of speak for itself, and the right people will come across in my own life when it comes to them asking for advice and lessons and knowledge. Like, even if you're listening to this video right now, you're open to some wisdom and some lessons from my own life, and everybody's got their own amount of lessons that they've learned that they can pass on. It's not just me, but it's everybody. It's learning from their own experience and their own stories and passing it on. But as far as day-to-day, life, walking down the street or going to work, you can't just stop someone and say, hey, you should be doing this or you shouldn't be doing that, unless you can kind of sense that they're open to some advice. But I feel like from my experience, only about 5% of people that you come across are actually willing to be open to lessons and knowledge. Most people are just going about their day and they don't really want to hear it for the most part. So that's something else that I've learned, is to keep a lot of information and knowledge to myself and just let my own life speak for itself. So the last lesson that I want to talk about is I'm starting to feel the compounding of life. All the action that I've taken towards my goals, all the books that I've read, all the experiences that I've had from work, all the skills that I've been able to refine in the last 10 years throughout my 20s before I hit 30. I'm really starting to feel the compounding of all the work that I've put in and all the knowledge that I've been able to accumulate, because, for example, when I was 19 years old, I didn't have the same amount of skills, I didn't have the same mindset, I didn't have the same amount of knowledge that I have now. And back then I was really just like a sponge soaking everything in, but now that I've been able to soak in all this information and experience, and I've put in all this work, I really feel that now it's really starting to compound, and I can walk around in a really strong foundation within myself because I put in the work. So I'm blessed to be able to be 29 and be able to say that, because a lot of people don't really grow as much compared to myself, I feel. I mean, I'm not trying to put anyone else down, everyone's on their own journey, but I've been very aware about my own growth, and I've had a lot of intention behind the growth in my life. So I'm looking forward to the next 10 years. Right now I'm in a really great place in my life, health-wise, with my creativity, with my finances, with my management career, if you want to say that as well. One more thing that just comes to mind is that when I was younger, I had a certain perspective and an opinion about the system, the Western society that we live in, about working a 9 to 5 and working just for money. And I had a certain idea in my mind that really did manifest itself into me not working as much in my early 20s and working more on my creativity, which did work out because now I have a lot of creative skills. But now that I'm a bit older, I'm actually kind of embracing Western society a bit more, and capitalism, and saving money and investing money, and understanding that there is pros in that. And it's just, you have to be, for myself anyway, that you've got to be aware about how much energy you're giving to the system and balancing yourself out so you're not completely selling your soul just for money. But I'm able now to see the benefits in the society that I live in, and not just running away from the West to Eastern ideologies of just being in nature and all this kind of stuff, but being, just like now, I'm camping, being in nature. But once this little holiday is over, I'm going to be back at work, saving money, investing for my future self. So that's another lesson that I've come across in the last year. And I think as I get older, I get more mature, become more independent. Like I said before, your vision does change as your perspective changes about the world and how you see life. So, I'm gonna keep it up. I appreciate you guys for listening to this video. For the rest of the day, I'm about to look for some more firewood to keep this fire going for a bit, sip on my coffee, do some drawing, go for a hike later on. But yeah, yesterday was my birthday, 29, 30 next year, and I think I want to do these videos every year for my birthday, just a reflection and lessons. I think it'll be really interesting, because if I do one for every year of my birthday, by the time I'm like 80 years old, I'll have this whole archive of knowledge and information to reflect on and to pass on to other people. So yeah, hope you guys are all doing well. I'm gonna keep doing my YouTube thing, of course, but it might not be at the same volume that I was doing it a couple months ago, but I will keep making videos and sharing my thoughts and my creativity for sure. So alright y'all, that's the video. Peace.